sat where you guys sat up till like 1993. Graduate of Shenandoah High School. Graduate of Shenandoah High School in 1993. He has been a high school volleyball coach, a high school baseball coach, and then finally got the opportunity to do what he's most passionate about, and be a high school softball coach at Pendleton Heights High School. He used that platform as a successful high school coach to become a successful softball coach at the Division I level at Butler University. And I don't know if you guys know anything about coaching, but a lot of places in the world, you don't become a successful high school head coach and get hired to be a college head coach. Usually you have to go through a process called assistant coach for about 8 to 10 years, and then maybe go to a small college somewhere and prove that you can coach at a small college as a head coach, and then you're given the opportunity at the Division I level. Well, this guy, he's never been in that kind of mold or that kind of frame of mind. I can tell you, you heard Taylor talk about putting in the extra work, okay? Well, when I was a baseball coach here, he was a baseball player here. And my phone would ring about 9:15 or 9:30. That's when I could stay up late when I was young. My phone would ring about 9:15. He'd say, "Hey, coach, how about tomorrow morning we hit some in the cage?" Well, we never hit in the cage. He needed somebody to feed the balls into the machine so that he could hit them. So that was me. So the next morning I would get up and I would go to school at 6 o'clock, and I would not be awake until he hit a line drive straight back at the machine that hit the pole. For those of you that have been in the batting cage, you know that screen that's in front of you. When somebody hits a line drive and it hits that pole, you wake up. That's when I usually woke up in the mornings. As a football player here, he was a wide receiver. He used to sleep with a football in his bed the night before game. Not any ball, it had to be a new ball, because he was going to be catching a new ball the next day. Played a little high school basketball here. And now, as the head coach at Butler University, coaches in the Big East Conference, which is one of the most outstanding conferences in America. Since Butler joined the Big East 6 years ago? 4 years ago. Since Butler joined the Big East 4 years ago, all of their athletic teams combined have won, I believe, 4 Big East championships. That's why I said 3. Is soccer just win one?
Both men's and women's won regular season.
Oh, okay.
They got upset the tournament.
All right. So anyway, yeah, Coach Hall has won a Big East championship. He might have his ring on today.
I don't wear it very often.
You get a nice ring when you win a conference championship in the Division I land.
Here you go.
Lefty. So it's my pleasure
I
today.
finally got a blue one. Let's just put it that way. I had a couple of red ones coaching high school. Never could get the blue one. So
It's my pleasure today to introduce a great coach and a young man who has become a great friend of mine, even to this day. We still go to Reds games together in the summer. We used to play golf together until he got so dang good and I got so dang old that it wasn't fun anymore. Or I just don't have time to play, something like that. How about a warm Shenandoah welcome for a Shenandoah guy?
it must be in the air today because I can't get this thing to load up. It's been a rough 24 hours for me. I had this presentation all ready to go on my iPad, and hey, there we go. I'm going to ask you guys to pass these cards around. It's for something to do later, just an empty index card. So last night I was like, oh yeah, I got to go get index cards. So I live in Pendleton. I drove down to the dollar store. You guys have that in Middletown now. You guys are living rich now. We didn't have that. run inside for 2 minutes, grab index cards, come back out, get to the house, and I'm like, oh, where's my iPad? Where's my iPad? Half hour later, I'm back at the dollar store with the police department filing a theft charge. Somebody stole my iPad. So anyway, yeah, so now I have my iPhone. When Coach asked me to come do this, I got to find my notes. I'm not as organized as Taylor was. Where is Taylor? Is he still in there? And you guys take notes from that? Yeah. I'm just like Coach. I learned from a great one. I'm even taking notes from that guy. You can take stuff from anything. So I hope I give you one thing today that you walk out here with. But when he was asking me to come talk, I was like, man, I don't know what I can talk to these guys about, because there's a lot of buzzwords out there: leadership and accountability, integrity, and all this stuff. And it's November, it's Thanksgiving, and I'm home. This is home for me. And so it's dope. It wasn't ever Shenandoah or Doe when I was there. We had to speak properly, and it was Shenandoah. But now I say I'm from Doa. Right? But it's Thanksgiving, so I'm thinking, okay, what's something that we do that improves culture for everybody? And so for me, it's an attitude of gratitude. I can't tell you, and I'll get choked up talking about Coach Sarkowski, but attitude of gratitude. And you guys, the cards that are going around, I'm going to have you at the end actually write a thank you card to somebody, and we'll talk about that at the end. But that's what I want you thinking about. On my notes, you're in here for a reason. It's an awesome privilege that somebody thinks enough of you as a person, as a leader, as a student athlete, to have the opportunity to sit in here and listen to great speakers. And just the thought of that makes me think how awesome it is to have people that think that of you. And are you thankful for that? Right? And not only that, being a part of the team is an awesome responsibility that people depend on you. Do you ever think about that? Just because you're on a team, it's not an isolated situation. People depend on you. That thing go off again. Okay? So for me, your attitude when it comes into being a teammate, being a leader, as they talk about, and I think that's going to be talked about quite a bit today. Your attitude dictates a lot of things. How you talk directs your actions. Okay? We have to do this all the time at Butler when they come in. Okay? We spend a lot of time as a group together. And we try and preach the culture of humility. You get the chance to do this. Okay? To be a Division I athlete. To be an athlete at any level is an awesome responsibility for one. Okay? You guys ever help with youth league camps? Yeah? What are those little kids are always doing around you? They're mimicking what you do in games. They want to be a part of Shenandoah football or basketball or baseball or softball or volleyball, right? Okay? I still to this day look up to people like Todd Shaw, John Crow. I can go on and on about great players that when I was in high school, man, I would have loved to play with them. They're like these gods, you know? And then now you're here, and you're in that position to be those role models for those kids, okay? So what you do matters, and how you do it matters, okay? So why is it important that we have a culture of gratitude? Your attitude and gratitude. Okay, so I did a little research. I'm not a smart guy. I never claim to make this stuff up. I'm not that smart. Let's see if I can pull this stuff up. Pick it up. Make my phone to show off. Better than this stuff. Smarter than me.
Coach, you might have it there.
Yeah, I got that one. Right. This was up there. that's all right, while you're working on it. Okay, so my list, which will be up there. First thing we got to talk about, number one, why we want a culture or cultivate an attitude of gratitude. And this just goes into a brief thing of why it's important and why we do it. So number one, it encourages humility. Okay? We all know, and we've all been around those people that just think they're better than us. Okay? We can see it. You can see it on the athletic field. Right? We know who, especially when we go recruit, this is it's kind of a no-brainer. All the coaches kind of, meander around and we find the good players. We can see that, right? We're not blind to it. Do you guys see it? Right? When you're on the court, either your opponents or even on your own team, you know who the good players are, right? Sometimes it's unfortunate those players know who they are as well, right? And so the attitude of gratitude will hopefully lead you away from that entitlement feeling, that we're all in this together, that we appreciate each other's efforts, right? Everybody has to do the weights, everybody has to do the conditioning, everybody has to do the study tables. Okay, we're all in this together. And at the end of the day, not one person got that, where's that ring floating around?
We're over here.
Yeah, just everybody got one of those rings when we won. It was amazing how everybody felt being a part of that. It wasn't just one person raising that trophy. Okay, so we hopefully get away from that entitlement. Picking it up in there. Okay? And so it's the we, not me, humility. Unfortunately, we're dealing with do you guys like being called the millennials? So I've heard it spelled me-millennials, right? Where it's all about yourself, okay? And I had to have a talk the other day with my daughter, again, attitude and why are we doing the Instagram, the Finsta, the one. What? Fingerprint? I don't know. It's a, there you go. She was posting, they don't pick up my phone. Like my phone goes there. Where's that? Anyway, but it deters arrogance, the focus on yourself. And I'll just give you a story. When we're doing all of our traveling, we're on charter buses, planes, hotels, restaurants, and everything. We tell our kids, and hopefully it just gets embedded in them as they go through the program. Please and thank you will get you a long way in this world. A long way. Okay? I'll figure it out. I'll pop it up there. It's only just a few pictures. We have a fall season. We have a spring season. So we went through a whole spring season with this freshman. Her name was Leah. Kind of just this real spoiled kid. She was adopted, the only child in her family, the Division I pitcher, blah blah blah. I mean, the world revolved around her. And so when we get back from games, we have to put all of our uniforms in piles and practice gear and loops and everything, and it all gets washed for them and then put back in their lockers. Well, when we get back late all spring long, she just wanted to get back to the dorm. So she would just take her uniforms back and, come Monday or Tuesday, she'd go by the equipment room and here you go, I brought my stuff in. Well, what she didn't realize is the equipment managers had been there Sunday, early Monday morning, washing all of the stuff and getting it ready, and all of a sudden now here comes an empty or a uniform and a thing of practice clothes, so on and so forth, and now they have to do a whole nother load. So that went on all spring. We kept warning her, hey, Leah, get your stuff in, blah, blah, blah. So that fall came back around. Now she's a sophomore. We have our first fall tournament. Leah decides, I'm just going back to the dorm. Same thing. Here we go again. On Tuesday, because Mondays are off on Tuesday, she walks into Hinkle and throws her bag into the laundry room. And just as she walks by, thank you, and just walks by. Doesn't even say hi to Jen, our equipment manager. So Jen comes down to the office, not too happy. She goes, this is really getting old. And so we've already talked to Leah about it. So that following week, Leah, you're not gonna travel with us on Saturday. You're gonna stick around here And then on Sunday, after the football game, you're going to help Jen wash all the football stuff. Okay, so there's 8,500 guys, grass stains all over. And so Leah got to spend the entire day with scrub brushes getting grass stains out of pants and understanding what these equipment people do for them as athletes and the time that they put in. And so realizing all that, the next day when I saw her, she's like, Coach, I didn't realize how much they do for us. I said, yeah, that was the whole point. And I said, now can you imagine the next day, after you've already put all that stuff up, the cleaners, the brushes, the spraying it off, the pressure washer, blah, 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 to have a couple guys come in and just throw it at you and go, thank you, as you walk by. And she said, yeah, that wouldn't be very much fun. And so it was just a matter of she doesn't really understand what people do for them. And I don't think you guys really understand, and again, you're young, you know, I'm in my 40s now, and looking back, what it took for Coach Salkowski to set this thing up for you today, right? To organize all this stuff, to get the drinks, to get the t-shirts, to get the coaches all lined up, all of these things, all of these administrators. Okay, we need to do a better job of thinking about others than thinking about ourselves.
Can I just stop you for a second? Coach Salkowski had a lot of help doing this.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
And I'm grateful for the people that helped me.
And so, when the attitude of gratitude is in your culture, those are things that usually take care of themselves. When we are out to eat at restaurants, it's please and thank you to the waiter or waitresses. Because I would not want to be the waiter and have 30 people walk in and expect to be fed in a timely manner, so on and so forth. Things aren't going to come out on time. You've got to learn to be patient and all these things. So we even go to the point of our kids now have, even when we're doing front toss in the cages or we're throwing BP, every time they get out, thanks coach, because he took the time to throw to me, right? They say it to each other when they're doing drills in the weight room, spotting. They thank each other for spotting each other. It just makes you feel a little more close-knit. You guys have all been a part of teams. Chemistry is huge, right? When you have a fractured team, that team's going nowhere. You'll have your good players and they'll get theirs because that's what they're worried about. But when you have a team that's more worried about including everybody, making everybody feel important, and understanding that it's about the entire group, things go a lot smoother. So number one was encourage humility. Two was deters arrogance, the millennial. Focus on the stats, the individual success. Are the college coaches watching? Blah, blah, blah. I'm just worried about me. Okay. Number three, facilitates emotional control. When you're more worried about how your teammates feel about you and how I'm going to pick them up, you are in a better state of mind. Okay. You're not worried on the negatives. Okay. You got to be worried about the positives. Okay. I've been a part of teams as a player and a coach that I could tell early on, is this game going to go where we want it to go, or are we going to be able to rebound from this? Okay? The negative attitudes, oh, here we go again. Johnny's getting all his shots up, I'm not getting the ball, so on and so forth. I can tell you this, when you have a team that fights for each other, pulls for each other, doesn't worry about individual successes, that's a fun team to be a part of, and that team is going to go a long way. I can tell you in the conference championship, we finished fourth every year we've been in the Big East in the regular season, and then we go to the conference tournament. We got into the conference tournament, this would have been 2 years ago now. We were the number 4 seed playing DePaul, the number 1 seed. They lost 1 game all season in the conference. We were down 6-0, I think. We scored 7 runs in the 5th or 6th inning. We ended up beating them 10-6 to upset the number 1 seed. We come back the next day, play St. John's for the conference title. We give up a grand slam in the first inning. We're down 6-0 in the first. And our whole attitude was different than the day before. Our attitude, well, it was the day before was 73 degrees and sunny, and the day of the conference tournament was 42 and cloudy and wind blowing off Lake Michigan. And it was brutal. And I could just tell by our attitudes that first inning, here we go, heads down, hey, we were happy just to be here. We made it to the championship game. And I even turned to my coach and said, I think they're more worried about where we're going to eat when we leave. And then somehow we had a great group of seniors that every inning they came in, keep chipping away, hey, great job, good pitch, get us out of this inning. And I'll never forget, one of our pitchers, our senior pitcher, she walks a kid. We're down 6-0, she walks a kid. And rather than hang her head and walk back, she looks at the catcher, goes, my bad, throw her out, and she steals. I mean, right there we go from a walk, and everybody's head's hanging to that catcher going, yeah, I got your back. And so it just kept feeding itself. Rather than hanging our heads and, hey, you know, we're just glad to be here, they rallied, we came back, the whole shocked the world. Today, it's a crowning achievement of my coaching career as far as winning a championship. But I'll never forget the team, not necessarily the ring and the trophy and all that stuff, but what that team was able to achieve by everybody being on board, making sure everybody felt a part of it. Okay. And then the last two things, stronger teams with less division. Okay, when everybody's trying to help each other out, make them feel a part of it. I look at, and the last one is better athletic performance. Just think about it. If I'm always in a positive mood, looking for the positives, I don't have time to be selfish.
Teachers, at this time, we need the students that are going on Mrs. McCrew's field trip. Please report to her room. Thank you.
Maybe I did this. There's a few pictures I want to put up on here. But if not, that's okay.
You do notice that it says on there, EZ Media, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
that ain't true. All I need is one. Good back. Back again. Play. How about play? The last thing I want to leave you with, I had a couple pictures, and one of the pictures was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Okay, and if you can tell me what his real name is, Coach will get you a cookie for lunch. One of them, whoever can tell me. You get a cookie. Anyway, it was a great picture of Lou Alcindor, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, when he was in his playing days at UCLA, and Coach John Wooden on the court coaching him, and he's towering above this man. And then the next picture is a picture of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar walking John Wooden off the court with a cane and a walker, and it says, "Never forget who helped you get to where you are today." Right? And so you've got these cards in front of you, and I want you to think about this for a second. Okay? If you are grateful, it's awfully hard to be unhappy. Think about that for a second. How can I be grateful for where I'm at, what I have, and be unhappy? Right? When I pull in here today, and I tell our Butler athletes this all the time, when I pull in here today, this place is better than it ever was when I was here, when Coach Stanley was here. Right? You've got wonderful facilities, padded backstops and netting, great lighting and facilities in the gym, new weight room. They're constantly improving things, a whole new football field regraded, so on and so forth. You have it way better today than any athlete. And you know what? Next year, it'll be even better for those athletes. But what are you leaving them as far as your program goes? Okay? Facilities and all that stuff are one thing. But the team culture that you lead, as far as being a leader, okay, what we're focusing on here, and it starts with your upperclassmen. I listened to Taylor talk here earlier about when I was a freshman, I didn't want to speak and so on and so forth. It starts with your upperclassmen and what their expectations are. It starts with the coaches and it comes down from the coaches. Okay? I'm always talking to my athletes, thanking them for their effort. Great job in class, so on and so forth. And we acknowledge when they are grateful and when their attitudes are where we need them to be successful. And don't get me wrong, coaches are human. Okay? There's been some bumpy spots in my coaching career, and it's easy to focus on the negative. It's easy to focus on yourself and not focus on how fortunate you are to be where you are today. Okay? And then the next picture I had is a picture of myself and Coach, and I think it's in his office. When we played, he's got this wonderful mustache. Okay? And then the next picture is both of us bald. So, but you want a good coach story? Yeah, a good coach story. I played 2 sports for him, and Coach Stanley did too. So we were at practice one day. We were seniors baseball. Field is as hard as a rock, and we got to loosen this infield up. So Coach's like, I'm getting on the tractor. We're gonna drag this thing. Okay? We had a tractor, and we had this nail drag. You guys know what a nail drag is? Just a bunch of bolts in a big metal frame, and we're like, okay, but we got to attach it to the tractor somehow. I don't know how we're gonna do this. So he takes a garden hose, very, engineering, wraps it around that, and then wraps it around himself in the seat, okay, to this tractor. Bruce, remember this? Oh, yeah. So we're like,
I don't remember this.
Oh, well, yeah. So he takes off. He's dragging the infield, and man, this thing's just scratching along the top. It's not really doing anything. There was this freshman named Aaron Parker, and we're like, Aaron, get on that thing. Put some weight on that. We got to get it into the ground. So Aaron jumps on it. It's just still scratching Coach and driving around. We're like, no, get on it. So he jumps, and that thing bites. And the next thing we know is Coach Sarkowski is now completely flipping the tractor over. He's looking at the sky and kicking his legs because this tractor is coming backwards on him. And so Bruce and I are all going, and it was in the exact moment when the tractor falls off and Coach rolls off, like, what just happened, that we were allowed to laugh. Because, we thought Coach was dying. But that's who Coach was. And for me, when I look back and the people that I have to thank throughout my career, I mean, it all started here. Coach said I started softball at Pendleton. I was the head coach here for 2 years, right? And Shenandoah gave me that opportunity. A guy named Rick Penn hand wrote a 4-page reference letter for my first coaching job. I was a head varsity volleyball coach at 19. Okay, imagine how that went when I'm coaching 18-year-old seniors, right? Okay, but Rick Penn, the athletic director here, thought enough of me to hand this back before texting and all that stuff. Hand wrote a 4-page reference letter to Madison Heights, recommending me for the volleyball job. And then a couple of years later, the softball job came open here, and they hired me here to start my softball career here. And then Coach Sarkowski has just been a great mentor to me. He's a guy I call when I'm in trouble. Hey, I screwed up. What do I need to do here? Or if I need advice, he's been there for me nonstop. And one of the pictures that I was going to have up there is a picture of just flowers, and it says there's way more flowers at a funeral than there are when you're alive, because regret is stronger than gratitude. So why can't we do it while we're here, right? All of you guys are here today because people have helped you along the way. Whether it's in athletics, whether it's in academics, whether it's in social life, people have tried to guide and steer you. And a lot of times you want to buck it, right? You want to fight the system because there's rules, okay? These people are doing it because they care for you, all right? You may not see it now, okay? You may not see why I can't have my cell phones. This came up at breakfast this morning. Why can't I have my cell phones? They want your attention. Bad things happen when you're not paying attention. You're not getting your academics squared away when you should. And the people that are here, your counselors, your athletic trainer, right? Janice in the office, these guys have all been here to help you guys along the way. And the frustrating side of it is, I can tell you this, when we go recruit, okay, I said before, we see talent. All the coaches see talent, okay? And there's a lot of it out there. But then what do we start looking for? What else do you guys think we start looking for? How do we see it? Absolutely. Absolutely. The little things. Okay? There'll be times that we'll go to games and I won't wear anything Butler. You won't wear anything I do. Okay? By the way, I didn't want to mention Taylor Howell at Butler game with that year that Yogi was, when they were ranked #1 dogs beat. Sorry, Tom, were you back there? Go Dogs. But we start looking for the things that really matter in our team culture. There's plenty of talent. I say it all the time. There's a lot of kids that could play at Butler, but there's a lot of kids I don't want to play at Butler. when they're yelling at mom and dad, get me a Gatorade. Was there a please? Was there a thank you in the tone of your voice? Right? When the game's over, mom and dad's grabbing all the bags and dragging out there, and they're just on their phone because, you know, they got to prove that they just played a game. Right? We got to make sure everybody knows it. Okay? Instant gratification. Right? And if not enough people like it, I got to take it down. Why? Because other people's opinions matter. Right? And so we look at culture for our team. Right? Sit in the bleachers. We know who their parents are. We talk to the coach. Sit in the bleachers, and because we're not naive enough to think that mom and dad aren't going to treat us the same way that they're treating that coach currently. And so all of these things play a role into what we look for when we go recruiting. And I can tell you this, all the other coaches do. That your social media, all right? What you put out there is who you are. I don't care if you like it or retweet it. Well, I didn't put it up, you liked it, right? We look at all of that stuff because that will ultimately, in the end, be a reflection of our program, right? There are college programs that make those kids get off, and I know there's fake accounts and all that stuff. But again, who are you really then, right? And so at the end of the day, it comes down to your attitude, what your focus is, what your goals are, and how you can achieve that. But more importantly, taking time to recognize those people who have made that possible for you. Okay? I wouldn't be where I am today without Coach Sarkowski, without Coach Penn, okay? Without my buddy Bruce, right? He was the guy that we would go throw with. We'd go out and play basketball all the time, and it just made us competitive, okay? It was boring as hell playing center field for that dude. I mean, this is kind of how I played the whole game. Right here. Nice pitch. Nice pitch. Can we go hit yet? Right? And then to go see what he did in the college ranks, and now coming back, giving back to Shenandoah, I think it's just awesome. Okay? So what I'd like for you to do, I know maybe I got us back on track here. Okay? But just take a few minutes. You have that card in front of you. Okay? This is not to write your girlfriend, boyfriend a love letter. Okay? And I know you guys probably do that. Okay? But the art of actually, and Peyton Manning is known for this, writing letters to people. Okay? But just a handwritten note. Okay? And I don't care who it's to, mom, dad, grandma. Okay? My grandma, she's 88. She's on Facebook Live. She's on Periscope watching our games. She'll text me, what the heck? Why did she drop that ball? I mean, she's all into it. She is one of my biggest supporters. Okay? And I can't wait till the game's over to get on my phone, and I know there'll be a text from her. Okay? But that's somebody that has helped me along the way. She never helped me one bit with athletics. Just her love and support. Okay? So think about somebody that you just like to drop a note to, okay, whether it's a coach, okay, a counselor, a parent, a teacher, if you're struggling in classes, okay, they're trying to help you succeed. Okay? Just take the time, just a few minutes, and write